right. Meanwhile, thousands of teachers, support staff, and parks employees hit Chicago streets yesterday in anticipation of the strike. Contract negotiations have all but stalled, but city leaders say it's the unions that are causing the holdup. Joining us this morning is CPS CEO Dr. Janice Jackson. Good morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
From what I heard yesterday after the rally, everyone came back to the bargaining table, and it seemed some progress was made. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I would say in the past couple of days, things have really picked up on both sides. I mean, we've made it no secret that we wanted a better response and a more fulsome response from CTU based on the comprehensive proposal that we've given them. We did make some progress. CPS has also indicated a willingness to put some of the key issues in writing that the union has been advocating for. And so I'm still hopeful that we can land this, which is my goal. We're going to do everything within our power, but we're also planning in case there is a strike. We want to make sure that parents know that there is a contingency plan in place so that kids have somewhere to go.
So you know firsthand what it's like to be a teacher in the classroom. You've been on the front line, which is why I think a lot of people were excited when you took your position. So what are you sharing with Mayor Lightfoot about what the teachers are talking about, and then the support staff and everyone else?
Yeah, well, what I would say to people is this feels very different than any other strike we've had before. In 2012, I was in the school. In 2016, at the bargaining table and helped avert a strike. I think the conditions are different. The mayor led with the fulsome, comprehensive offer, a 16% raise that is the biggest raise Chicago public school teachers have ever been offered in history. I know that the approach that she took was to avoid a strike and really respect and honor the work that teachers do every day. But this is a very unique situation. We're not debating things that we've taken away, closing schools, layoffs. We're debating what the union would call quality of life issues. And so for me, I really want us to focus on the things that impact education and what's happening in the classroom every day. And we can't try to solve all of the issues in Chicago through the contract between CPS and CTU.
And you know, this really impacts our kids the most.
Absolutely.
If the strike were to happen. You mentioned earlier you guys are preparing for if that does happen. What are some things you guys have in place?
Well, first, we're going to make sure that every single school is open, because while most parents will find alternative options for their children, we do have a lot of families who, if they don't go to work, they don't get paid. And so they need a place for their children to go. They need to ensure that there is a meal there. So every single building will be open, and it will be staffed with our principals and non-union staff. And we also have a deployment strategy where if more students show up than anticipated, we will send more staff from central office. All of this information is on our website. We've tried to be extremely transparent. People can find the offer on our website at cps.edu/ouroffer, and they can also find the contingency plan on that same website, cps.edu/contingency plan.
I was a little surprised yesterday at the rally to hear some of the language from the president of the American Teachers Federation saying, we're going to teach this mayor a lesson. That kind of language this close to negotiations and a strike, what does that do to your negotiations?
Well, I think the folks at the table remain focused because they have a lot at stake. Our children's education is at stake. We can't deny the politics that are involved in this, but for my part in this as an educator, I'm going to always make sure we do what's right on behalf of children and do what it takes in order to make sure teachers have a comprehensive and fair contract. But for me, I don't think we should be mixing politics with education. And again, there are quality of life issues that we agree with. We agree about social workers. We agree about trauma. We agree about all of those things. But you can't solve all of the city's problems in the CTU CPS contract.
So what do you want to say to those educators, those people out there on the front line who are saying that there are schools that don't have libraries and librarians, and there are schools that don't have nurses, so teachers are administering medication. There are teachers with 40 students in a classroom. What do you want the message to be to them today?
Well, first, I want them to know that we understand, and I also want us to have a fair discussion about those things. There are some real issues. I agree. I would love to have a social worker in every school, and we're working on that. But we also have to acknowledge there's a pipeline issue. If we open a social worker position in every school tomorrow, the people simply don't exist to fill those positions. And so we need time to phase in. The same with school nurses, because it requires an additional licensure that most people don't know about, and you need that in order to start to go into a school. As far as class size, we have put an offer on the table to support classes that are overcrowded, but I also would encourage people to really look deeper. This is not the 1970s where there were 40 kids packed in a classroom and those old images that you see in CPS. We have some neighborhoods that are growing really fast and the schools are overcrowded, and we are prepared to put additional resources by way of teacher assistants, teachers, et cetera, in those classes to relieve that overcrowding.
It sounds like the CTU is most frustrated with they want all this in writing and just put it in the budget.
Yeah.
Is that all that's holding this all up?
Well, we've actually put it in the budget already. So we made before we even got to this place in the contract, we made a commitment to increase the number of special education case managers, social workers, nurses, and we added 95 of those 250 positions we committed to the budget this year. They're in the budget right now. But to my point earlier, it takes time in order to staff them. So we are committed to putting those items in writing. I want to get a deal done. At the end of the day, our children cannot afford to be out of the classroom. That's the bottom line.
I think that's something everybody agrees on, the kids. That's really what's at stake here. So thank you so much, Dr. Jackson, for joining us this morning.